For those of you expecting something really slick and corporate and profound, I'm very sorry to disappoint you. This will not be that. Hands up who put their philosophy hat on today. Mine looks like Napoleon's tricolour hat. It's just me. And hands up who's thinking about putting their dancing shoes on, always. Mine are silver platform. Oh, come on, party people. It's like, let's cut loose a little bit. So my name's Mary Wallace. I've got a really weird job title, Retail and Consumer Behaviour SME. What it actually means is I'm that really creepy person who lurks in shopping aisles and listens in to what young people are saying on the top deck of the bus and stuff like that. But it's all in the name of science, right? And they haven't arrested me yet, so yeah, go figure, I'm winning. But what I'm really doing is I'm looking past, hang on, how fast can I get fired here? It's all right, Matt's not paying attention. I'm trying to look past the corporate BS and the technology BS, because I don't really care about that. What I care about is what are real human beings who are messy and lazy and tired, like me, what are they actually doing in the real world? Or what could they do? What do they not want to do? And I try and translate those things for our clients. Like, well, why should you care about that? How do you get value out of it? What should you really be paying attention to? And I'm not a futurologist. I get really offended by that, because that's those like tech bro guys who wear like cool t-shirts and seem to have all the answers. You'll very quickly see I have no answers, so deal with it. So we're going to talk about people, consumer as in human beings, right? Anyone who buys stuff, uses stuff, whether your business is selling shampoo or fancy whiskey or cars or banking, whatever it is, right? We're all in that world. So let's start off getting philosophical, right? So what I wanted to show you, there's some stuff, we'll come back to that later. By the way, do interrupt, ask, we can go back at the end because there'll be bits of video, it's fine. We're all friends now. So I wanted to think about what's AI already doing beyond kind of that very hard technical grown-up stuff. And I wanted to share with you, this is an example from the Costume Institute in New York. You know the Met Gala that Vogue sponsors every year, where they have those ridiculous people wearing ridiculous, right? This is the exhibition that's actually related to. And what they've now started to do is to use various forms of AI to actually examine historical garments that they hold. So at the Costume Institute in New York, they have like 150-year-old dresses and garments from really famous designers like Worth and Fortuny, and kind of the heritage of fashion you can actually see there. But those garments, they're too fragile to, in a lot of cases, be taken out, right? You can't put them on. Really fragile things, but they hold so many stories, because these were worn and used by real people at amazing events, at amazing parties, right? And do you ever think, wow, I bet that thing could tell a few stories? Well, what the Costume Institute is doing is using AI to analyze the fibers, the structure of those garments, to actually bring those things, in quotes, back to life after 100 years, 150 years, whatever it is. And what's actually happening here is they're using some really interesting phrases as well. So we thought these things were destined for an eternal slumber, but actually the stories, the tales, the folk tales are embedded in the fibers of these garments, and we want to know more about what happens if we reawaken those things. And one of the things they've done is they've used AI to analyze the molecules that the fibers trapped, so they know what sort of cigars were being smoked in the room when that garment was being worn. And for those of you who know your history, that's unusual, because ladies were usually sent out of the room when the men started smoking. So I think the women were having a cheeky little smoke on the side, because ladies, we can do it too. So they're finding out more about what actually happened, what are the stories within this thing that was a product. And they've gone one step further. So this is a wedding dress that was worn by a New York society debutante, like one of those really fancy ladies. And what they've done is they've taken all the contextual news items, documents from the fashion designer, stuff that they know about this important woman, not important, historical woman, because she was famous, right? There's lots of stuff that they know. And they fed it all into the what I call the AI sausage machine. That's the technical term. So you can now ask Nancy more about the dress and the day and the occasion and who was there and how did you feel and tell us about your bridesmaids. You know, those kind of like tiny little details that if you were to just see that item in a case, you're not going to get that. And actually, if you look at what's happening across the fashion world right now, all those big designers with heritage and legacy, every single one of them is putting on a big fancy exhibition either in London at the Victoria and Albert or in New York or Paris. They're all revisiting their heritage and looking for ways to monetize it. And if we get down to the real deal, the brass tacks, we can think about if you are a company that part of your brand is heritage, history, and you have a big archive, what could you do with this kind of approach, with this kind of technology? And just switching from fashion to who likes whiskey?
Oh, that's wonderful. Welcome to England. The Johnny Walker Explorers Club collection was originally created to cater to globetrotters such as yourself.
So what's happening here
is imbued with the spirit of travel, exploration and adventure and honours the key locations around the world from which I took personal inspiration in creating the blends it represents. Great question. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Yeah, completely unprompted. So we work with Diageo, who make Johnny Walker. We really like them. And they're trying to think about ways to bring that heritage of their brands to life.
Drinking Scotch whisky neat
a retail
like
environment. Here he goes again.
Into a pool of flavour and aroma.
This is how to drink whiskey. So if you think about, if they're thinking about expanding their travel retail or putting something that the consumer can learn more from or shop from in a place where they don't have a store, they're a CPG company, so they have experiences, like the big tourist destinations. For those of you who know Edinburgh, the Johnny Walker experience on Princess Street, I would highly recommend you go see it if you're in Edinburgh. I don't actually drink booze anymore, which is why I'm so radiant and fresh for you today. 21, shut up. I didn't drink booze. First of all, they looked after me really, really well, even though I wasn't drinking the whiskey. And it's just a fascinating place to go. And the way they've used things like AI, 3D design, spatial design, it's brilliant. But also, they can sell you a lot of whiskey in that place as well. So they're looking about how do we bring heritage, education, those little tidbits that might be useful for someone making a choice about the many different varieties in our range. Where could we put that? What could we do with it? So we're thinking now about how brands can be more intelligent and reawaken the archive. What do we think about intelligent products? And what does that mean? So this is just a silly thing, right? If you're in London, this is a place called the Perfume Store, and this is a flagship store on Oxford Street, one of the main streets in London. In a minute, you'll hear me screech, go, oh, that's so cute. What they've done is the consumer or the shopper takes an AI quiz. It takes about 5 minutes to do, and it's one of those, you know, are you a leader or are you a follower? Do you like snails or oysters? Do you like macadamia nuts? I don't bloody know. So you answer this questionnaire, and what comes out of it is they recommend 3 types of fragrance for you. And they've got in the window something like 60 bottles of different sort of pure essence fragrances. And the AI quiz will basically make you 3 different little bottles of that. It's basically unique because there's millions and millions and millions of combinations you can do, right? And obviously this is a bit of retail theatre, right?
Sorry, let me move it away now.
in a minute I'll go, oh, it's like a train coming down the track. It's pathetic. And the little bottle comes down here and it prints the thing, and all of that information is stored in your customer profile, right? So you've answered the questionnaire, they've made the fragrance for you, you can subscribe to this service so it'll change with the seasons. So you can start to see how those elements of AI are really, pardon the pun, infusing themselves into the experience. But in a bit of real retail, right? It's not, here's my avatar, isn't it amazing? It's like, I want a good perfume and I want it to be unique to me, and I want a blend that's really special, and I want to subscribe to that service. And that is made just for me. And that's not a luxury brand. This is a high street store, right? It's not Louis Vuitton, who we'll come to in a minute. It's not super fancy. You can buy this for like 60, 70 quid. So it's accessible as well, right? Here is something that's a bit fancier. This is Todd's handbags. So this is about, we can think about intelligent products that have some kind of AI infused in them. But hands up, who's heard of the digital product passport that's coming, the new EU regulation? Wow, that's not many. I thought there'd be more in the room. So the digital product passport is an EU regulation that starts in 2027. It will be mandatory for people who make textiles, chemicals, things like mattresses, batteries. There's a bunch of stuff, right? All the luxury brands, people who make textiles, have jumped on this as a way to use it not only as a way to communicate about sustainability and transparency and authenticity, but using it as a marketing tool. Now, what we'll do is we can go back to this later on. But what started out as an EU regulation about sustainability has become a data vehicle for those brands to communicate via the product. So it's not just a product that you buy off the shelf now. That product is sentient and cognizant. It has a life. It can communicate. It can be updated. It will tell you how much water was used during the production of that. But it'll also tell you, I'm going to move back again. It'll also tell you about, this is an authenticated product and it's certified, which if you make luxury handbags, that's pretty important. This is unique. This is the stitching process that was made. This is who made it, right? Really important if you're trying to guard against things like modern slavery. Also, if you're going to go into the resale secondary market, which a lot of people who buy fancy handbags do, you're not going to, that next buyer isn't going to buy it if you don't have one of these. So that's where the leather came from. This was the production process. This is the metal that's contained within the fasteners, right? So all of those things are like technical details, but being presented as premium benefits. Here's where you can get it repaired, right? So lots of things being communicated via the handbag, and there's a little RFID tag stitched into the bag at the very last minute. So if you ask a luxury consumer, shopper, what's important to you, actually all of these things are important to everyone. It's not a luxury thing, right? I want to see what the warranty is. Is this authentic? How do I resell this in a safe and confident way, right? That survey's from Vogue Business, so you can find that now. I've put links to everything in the slides, which you'll get. So actually here we can see AI being used for obvious things around authentication and certification, the secondary market, but actually you can start to create multiple revenues from one product. So you've got the physical product, and then you've got a digital version of that product. And you can start to look at the different revenues that you can create from both of those versions of that product. So this is where we start getting into kind of philosophical territory, going, what? But it's a handbag, but it has a digital identity and it has a digital life, right? Let's hope it doesn't become a teenager, because then it'll start getting really icky. But I'm not just talking about posh products for rich people who like fancy things. This is high street level as well. And if we think about that phrase, intelligent product, maybe we just use the phrase a multi-format product, right? So this is a brand based in the UK called Nobody's Child. So they sell via our biggest high street retailers, Marks and Spencer, John Lewis. They're bringing that idea of intelligent product, digital product passport, to a £60 dress, right? That's kind of mid-level high street, right? So here, this is a consumer-facing thing. Again, it's telling you about this is the environmental impact of this product. Here's the water that was used. Here's what the buttons are made of. But as you come down here, it's starting to get kind of a little bit more marketing speak. So it's about things like, you know, here's how you can participate in the next version of this product. You know, you can be on a consumer panel. Here's how to wash it. Here's how to make it last longer. And then it's got links to partners that are related to the brand here, Nobody's Child. So actually, what we're saying is this isn't just about sustainability and traceability anymore. It's actually about a gateway to other services. Now, I'm just going to jump back to fancy land, very fancy land right now. So hands up, who's got £40,000, dollars, whatever it is, to spend on a little leather case? I have 3 of these, yes? I put the cat food in one, toilet paper in another, and then sweets in another, because those are the essentials, right? So this is a video clip. I've put the link in the slide as well. It's a 7-minute long video clip from Louis Vuitton. But the reason I've put this in is not so we can all go up at who the hell buy this? And the answer is a lot of people. What's really interesting is when the staff on the Louis Vuitton team talk about how they were pushed out of their comfort zone by having to design, and obviously Louis Vuitton makes leather goods, right, and posh clothes. We've got to design a digital product, and you're talking to someone whose whole career and education has been based on, you know, stitching together a beautiful thing or marketing that, right? So what they're talking about here is the customers who are buying this, so that's the £40,000 trunk, right? But what they're actually buying is a gateway, their word, to new universes and experiences. So if you haven't bought this $40,000 leather trunk, you do not have access to all of the other services, benefits, products, people at Louis Vuitton. So this is actually a form of loyalty scheme. It's the really, really fancy loyalty scheme because this is a key, both physical and digital, to a whole range of services that Louis Vuitton provides, which you won't get if you haven't bought this, because then it gives you a digital key. And what's in that video is, as I said, it's the staff talking about what else might we offer the customer? What else do they want? How do we now start to think about our product design process, our merchandising process, marketing, you know, things like that. But, you know, you can also just buy some normal pants. If we just put down that $40,000 trunk, AI can just be used to make you some nice pants with flowers on, right? It's not all about the fancy people. But, you know, even when I do this, my customer digital profile is being saved. Oh, you like the flowery ones, do you? Racy. Things get a bit saucy. So what else might you like, right? What else is it going to offer me? And it's not just about pants and handbags. If we look at mattresses, and I suspect there might be a few people in the room who sell things like mattresses and beds, bed linen. That digital product passport that is going to be the law in 2027, we're seeing the momentum is building, right? And we're seeing lots of manufacturers and retailers start to put this into products now. So this is an example for how you might put that data architecture into a mattress. We might also want to think about the next generation of intelligent products. So what does an intelligent bed look like? How would you put that idea of a multi-format product into an actual bed that seemingly does everything? It heats up, it cools down, it moves you. But the amount of tech, notice they don't actually call it a bed, they call it a sleep hub. Wow. I mean, come on. I know I said I was trying to cut through some of the BS. Anyway, it's hot, cold, up, down. It doesn't kick out the partner if that's really not who should be in your bed. I'd be designing it that. But if you look at all the stuff that's in here, the amount of digital capability that is within this bed now, so it's tracking your body functions when you're in bed. And I think part of this says, you can take off your wearables because the bed will actually do it all. Okay. So, yeah, exactly. So there's lots of things now that we're thinking around, not just pants and handbags, but sleep time, bedtime. But I'll just pull it back a little bit. When I showed you that Todd's handbag, that digital capability, that multi-format capability, they can do that because they're part of a consortium across the luxury industry. This number will have increased now. But that consortium that Todd's is a part of, they now have 40 million products that have a digital ID. That's 40 million. And as I said, the other brand that I showed you, Nobody's Child, as a complete contrast, will sell you a dress for £40. And the reason that people are getting really excited about this, it's not just, a piece of regulation with a deadline and you've got to have this information. It's about what other intelligence can that product carry? What do we want from that as well? So we're thinking about products that can not just remember things, but can communicate a story and a history. They exist in physical and digital form simultaneously, and they are powered by both organic data that comes from humans and synthetic data that's generated by a machine. So we need to think about what is the expectation of consumers and where's the line, right? How do we work with that? How might we integrate with systems today? So this is brilliant, but is it going to integrate with our CRM and commerce systems today? And how might we think about what they need to look like tomorrow? And how might we think differently about product ranges if we know that there's that digital physical thing simultaneously going on? So overall, it's about how might we think about designing products that have those multiple lives and multiple identities. So what I just wanted to quickly show you as well is how do I bring this into my life now? What's happening in the consumer world where Gen AI is actually doing something useful? What does an assistant look like? Back to whiskey. There's a theme here. Whiskey, pants, beds, handbags. I just needed to put cats in, and then I've got the trilogy. So we didn't make this. So this is our friends Diageo. They've made this. So they've created a flavor profiler called What's Your Whiskey? So again, you take a questionnaire before you go to the Edinburgh experience, or you can do this online now. And it's asking you about what kind of flavors you like. And it's incorporating that with a lot of the knowledge of those master blenders, the people who really know about whiskey. And out of that will come your unique flavour profile, a bit like perfume, right? And with that information that you're now equipped with, you can then do lots of different things. You can shop online, you can create cocktails, you can be part of communities, you can get preferential products, like product offers based on your profile. And you'll see this across a lot of their marketing as well. And actually what they're doing is they're pulling all that AI-generated information in through different parts of their retail experience. So what are the new occasions that people are looking for to drink that whiskey? And they use it with things like tequila and gin now as well. What are the new categories that we can develop as a result of this knowledge that we're now getting? And how do we connect that back into our overall ecosystem? So one of the things they're doing is they're actually building their own retail experiences. So as well as whiskey, they're doing one in London for Guinness. And if you go to Dublin, you can go to the Guinness experience there as well. So thinking about how do we infuse this into different places across our business. And here's a not simple example. There is going to be some audio on this. So this is the White Company. Do you know who anyone heard of the White Company? Yeah, they make very nice bed linen and candles and fancy things for a lot of middle-aged women like me.
Welcome back to the White Company.
So this is
nice to see you again.
An AI-generated assistant.
Actually, Amika, I'm sat here thinking my sofa could do with some more cushions. What do you think?
Well, send me a picture or a quick video and I'll try to help.
Okay, here you are.
Okay, so the decorative cushion I can see appears to be quite decorative with a textured surface. It features an abstract pattern design with a mix of neutral colours, including shades of brown, beige,
This has been
grey,
done in
and possibly
real
subtle hints
time
of muted
when
green.
this call is
The fabric
taking
looks to be
place.
woven with variations in thread thickness, contributing to the textured look and feel. The cushion is placed against the cream sofa and it complements the surrounding decor, which includes plants and a cosy interior atmosphere.
That's pretty close, yep.
Okay, based upon that style, I would recommend these 4 cushions in particular for a combination of complementary
So
shades.
she's
and some
pulling out
contrasting
other
patterns
information
and
from
textures.
his
you
customer
like any of these?
profile as well,
Yes.
and live
Actually, can you
inventory
send
that
me
they have.
2 of the first one and 2 of the third one to my home address. No rush.
Sure, that's done. They'll be with you in 3 to 5 days.
Okay, thanks, Amika.
Sam, you remembered Mother's Day, didn't you?
No,
So I
completely
hate
forgot.
Sam. I think he's a
Well,
bad man.
I only mention it because I was talking to your mum's
What a horrible
Amika since
son.
we last spoke. And she told me that your mum approved your friends and family request last week, so I now have access to her wish list, purchase history, and colour fragrance wheels. Is anything particular in mind, or shall I give you some ideas based on
So
that?
what's happened there
Pick something from her wish list.
is that his assistant, Amika, has got permission to talk to his mother's assistant. So the 2 assistants are sorting out his mother's birthday. So I hate him even more now because he's such. I mean, I don't know if he's got a partner, but not good birthdays.
And I'll generate a personal message in the style of last year's if you like.
Yes, that's awesome. Thanks, Amika. That's all for now.
Bye for now.
So worst man in the world, pretty much. So what was actually happening there is obviously he was taking a live photo of, I have no idea about cushions. Again, don't go to his house. So she was, the assistant was taking that live information and doing something with it matched to the inventory that they have and that she knew that they could sell right now, basically. The second big thing was looking at specific dates that are important to the customer. So this is when we get onto the Mother's Day thing. So looking at things that are stored in his profile and of the people who are in his ecosystem within the white company world. And the important thing here is your mum, I spoke to your mum's Amika last week, and she told me, she snitched, that your mum has improved your friends and family request, so there's permission. I've got access to her colour wheel and her favourite fragrances, and here's some ideas based on that. She also wrote the note for him and got it all delivered. Again, he's a bad man. So there's permissions going on here. He's broadened out the ecosystem, so he's not just shopping for him, and the assistants are talking to each other. So actually what's happening is there's a data interchange just over here with the CRM tool that's powering that as well. So it's integrated into the existing system. And this is something that we've built. You won't see it on the public-facing white company, but we've built this already, so we know it works. He's upset me now because he's like, men can do so much better. Come on, guys. So things that it's delivering today is we can now do that real-time individual support for customer journeys. We know that's already doing a lot of the heavy lifting. There's an opportunity to reawaken and monetize anything that's archived. If that's a thing that's important to you as a brand, we should be looking at that and how it fits with what you want to offer of your brand to maybe new consumers or loyal people or something like that. There's a huge opportunity there. And also there's those multiple revenue streams that we can now create from one thing that has come through your supply chain. However, we also need to think about what are the on-ramps for your colleagues and your teams, not just consumers? How do we need to think about different ways of working to make all this stuff happen? Because the capability's there now from the technology side, but we need to think about a lot of those things about individual ways of working, teams. Matt mentioned governance. What does it mean for things like inventory systems, merchandising? Do we double count a product? Is it one product with 2 codes? You know, actual basic retail stuff like that. What do people actually want? I mean, we can blaze in there going, surprise, we've created a lovely technology thing for you. Aren't you happy and grateful? No, no, you haven't asked me what I want. So how do we get real people involved in this so that what we're making is something that's genuinely useful, right, and profitable for everyone with a small p? And a big thing that actually doesn't get mentioned often enough, we're also going to see a massive shift from text input, that's me texting input, to things that are multi-sensory, audio, visual capability, 3D capability. That interchange with Amica, there was no typing at all, it was just voice. So how do we think about that in the experiences that we've developed today, and what do we want to do tomorrow? So actually, we need to put our dancing shoes on, because we're going to get pushback, but we need to think about what's inclusive, what feels right, what's going to be helpful for everyone. I've literally just finished rapping. That's me done. We'll have time for questions in a minute, I think. Thank you.